Brought to you by My 11 Circle. Win first prize 1 crore. Download the app now.
Young people, young cricketers have been given a lot of chance. Uh, they have a good team, and young people are also there, but they could not do well this time around. What do you think has been the reason? And as a mentor of the side, what did you think that where it all went wrong this time?
Well, it hasn't all gone wrong just yet. We've got 3 more games to go. I'd like to think that we can win our last 3 games, and we'll see where that takes us at the end of the season. Look, things probably started to go a little bit wrong a week after the auction. You know, when Rishabh had his unfortunate accident, that leaves a big hole in any team. You know, one of the world's leading players, your captain, your wicketkeeper. And having been just after the auction, when you've mapped out a plan around having a certain player in your side, then that makes it really hard to fill that void that he's left. Prithvi Shaw started the season and didn't make the runs that we would have wanted him to make. So there's another one of your retained players. You retain 4, Rishabh's not there, Prithvi's not there, so straight away your squad is weakened quite a bit. We've been mixing and matching all season, trying to find the right combinations, you know, with overseas/Indian players. Mitchell Marsh started the season, went back home missed a couple of games to get married. And Anrik Nortje has missed a couple of games lately to go back for personal reasons to South Africa. So that's changed our overall balance of our side, and that's things that are completely out of our hands. But at the end of the day, the bottom line is we just haven't played well enough. I mean, I think last night's a really good example of that. We did a pretty good job in the first innings with the ball, 160 odd against Chennai was a reasonable effort, but then the batting was just, you know, substandard again, which has been our biggest issue this year. Is our batting hasn't been anywhere near good enough and consistent enough to win games. You know, we saw 2 games ago, at home against RCB, the batting was unbelievably good. You know, we chased a big 180 odd score in 16 overs. But then last night we were unable to get 160 chasing as well. So we've been inconsistent. And when you're a little bit off the mark in a tournament like the IPL, if you're just 5% down on output or 5% down on performance, then you're going to lose more often than not. And that's where we found ourselves for the majority of this season.
Saurav Ganguly has been the director of the side and the head of the franchisee. Does that also make a little bit of differences? Because, has there been any differences of opinion, and when it comes to selecting a team or how to go about approaching?
Yeah, I mean, Saurav's role is director of cricket across the whole of all of the teams, not just Delhi Capital's men's program. He's across the women's program, he's across South Africa, I think, and maybe even across the Dubai team. So his job is broader and wider than being just the director of cricket in the men's program. So I'm the head coach of the men's program. That's all. You know, that's my scope of work with the Delhi Capitals, is looking after the men's program. And when you say Saurav and I are different characters, I'm not sure we are that different, to be honest. We're both pretty competitive people that have captained our country and had a lot of experience and led successful teams. So if you look at it that way, we actually become quite similar, and we've got similar views on the game. So we've worked really well together. But there's been no disagreements or interruptions at all there. It's just the fact that our players haven't been able to play well enough.
Ricky, are you missing Rishabh more as a batter or as a captain?
Oh, look, I think it's the overall package that we're missing. He's the heart and soul of the Delhi Capitals franchise. You know, really tough decision that was made by the franchise a couple of years ago when Rishabh Pant stayed on as captain and Shreyas Iyer was relieved of his duties. That was a big call that was made on the franchise's behalf, and from that moment on, Rishabh's obviously been the captain and as I say, the heart and soul of the team. So as much as his output on the cricket field, you miss his personality around the team. You know, he's upbeat, he's energetic, he's always having fun, he's laughing, he's loud. We all know what he's like when he's playing.
The future of Delhi Capitals, a team with great potential, how do you see, this is your last mentorship season, how do you see how the team would grow in coming seasons?
I'd like to think we have a better season next year than we've had so far this year. But as I said, if we win our next 3 games, will it be would have won 7 games for the season, 7 out of 14. Normally that's enough to make you qualify for the playoffs. So we still think we can do that. And if we do that, everyone will be saying we've had a really good season on the back of having the interruptions that we've had. So we're not writing it off yet. We've got a lot of cricket to play, and we play Kings 11 twice back to back, and then we go, and then Chennai come back here for our last game. And as I've said to our guys right through the season, I know we can beat anyone on our day if we play our best cricket. We haven't played our best cricket consistently enough, but I think we can in the back half. I mean, that's why last night for me was so disappointing, because if we won 4 of our last 5 games, the environment and the mood had changed quite a bit. Confidence had grown a little bit, and then we lose that bit of momentum last night. But we can bounce back, and if we do, then it won't be such a bad season after all.
Maybe one question I'd like to ask about the infamous patch between Virat Kohli and Kohli-Gambhir. How do you see that?
Which one? There's been a couple, wasn't there?
Right. One which happened in Lucknow.
Yeah.
How do you see that? Do you think there should be harsher punishment, because these are the role models that youngsters follow? Should there be harsher punishment for these cricketers? Because you were an aggressive cricketer in your playing days as the ex-Australian captain. How do you see these kind of episodes?
Oh, well, look, firstly, I've got no idea what's behind this. There's obviously a bit of history between those two, which I don't know nothing about. Should they be handled a bit harsher? I think as a governing body and administrators of such a big event like this, with so many eyes watching every move of every player in the IPL, I think these matters have to be handled in the appropriate manner. Now, I'm not going to say if it's been too light or too heavy what's happened in the past, but I think if I was an administrator, I'd be looking at the bigger picture of the game. Because there are kids in Australia watching, there are kids in the UK, where kids all over the world are watching this tournament. It's not just about India. It's not just about what's happening here, although it's India's event. So there's a big picture out there that needs to be thought about. And I certainly know when I was captain of the Australian cricket team that if I ever stepped out of line on the field, the match referees would make it known to me that as the captain and the statesman for your country, that's what you become. You're the statesman for your country, not just of your cricket team. You've got to make sure you're toeing the line and doing the right job. So I'm sure the administrators thought about it, and I don't even know what the penalties were, if there were penalties. But it certainly didn't look good. They would have had lots of hits on social media channels, I'm sure.
Yeah. You.
Do you feel there was the scouting wasn't up to the mark because the domestic players weren't really peaking? And if you compare with other teams, the teams really found some amazing domestic talents. So how do you express them?
Oh, look, we've still got our fair share of really good domestic talent in our side. With the balance and the makeup of our team this year, we've just struggled to find the right guys to put in at the right times. A lot of the question was made earlier about some of the young players that we've got, and we have got some young players. Yashdul, Vicky Oswald, these sort of guys. Yashdul played a couple of games at the start of the tournament. Our top order batting was struggling. We felt we needed a bit more experience in this, so he goes out. It's this tournament, and as we'll probably see as it goes on, one game is the difference between sometimes finishing in the top 2 or 3 and finishing 8th or 9th. That's just the way it goes. So, and we've juggled with things, and we've got Aman Khan is a talent, Ripple Patel, they're talented players, and they just haven't got enough exposure just yet. So with the way things go over the next few days, we might be able to give some of those younger guys a bit more opportunity.
Ricky, I want to know one thing. Just championship final, India versus Australia. I mean, in English conditions, conditions alien to both, I would rather say. No one is playing at home, so in neutral conditions, who will have the edge, who will have the advantage? Both sides are good, both sides bad.
I wish I knew. I've got to go and commentate that game, so I wish I knew what the outcome was going to be already. Then it'd make commentating a little bit easier. No, I think you hit the nail on the head there. Two very good teams, 2 teams that have had a lot of success over the last 2 years, and 2 teams that are playing on a neutral venue. I think it's been talked about maybe even using a different cricket ball that's normally used in England. Sounds like they're going to use the Kookaburra ball in the UK when it's always been the Duke. So those things, all thrown in together. A 6-day game, obviously, as well, which is you would think that there probably should be a result. If the boys are playing the right way, there should be a result over 6 days. But no, I'd be a very brave man to try and give you an outcome in the game. But I'm just really excited to see those two teams play that game, and that's the reason this whole Test Championship is what it is, to find the champion team over that period of time and have it decided in a neutral venue. So I'm excited to be able. I think the test starts on the 7th of June. I arrive on about the 3rd, so I'm looking forward to it.
Good evening, Mr.
Yes, for you. Excuse me.
With English conditions, who will hold the edge?
Yeah,
You don't
exactly.
have to know the result, don't have to predict the result, but in English conditions, who will hold the edge?
You would probably suggest that English conditions are maybe more like Australian conditions than they are Indian conditions. So if you look at it that way, I think Australia will probably have a slight advantage on conditions.
Good evening, Mr. Ponting.
Yeah, please.
Good evening, Mr. Ponting. Rishabh Pant is out of the equation. He's not going to feature in the World Test Championship. KL Rahul is also out of the equation. We felt he'll be in the 11. He'll provide you the perfect balance we are looking for. He's not there. Now you have to do with the Ishan Kishan. And what are the options? Ishan Kishan, you have a KS Bharat, and then there is Jitesh Sharma, Sanju Samson. There is a MS Dhoni who's ready-made. Why not play him? Why not let him, at least consider him for the World Cup?
Firstly, does he want to play? Does he want to play? He's retired from international cricket, hasn't he?
And he may be retiring IPL as well, I believe. Like in some.
If he's still going
I'm
okay.
talking about the World Cup, the ODI World Cup. that
Oh, the
takes
World
place
Cup.
later
Right.
in the year.
Yeah.
So why not come out of retirement?
Lucky I'm not an Indian selector, right? If I was an Indian selector, I'd have a tough job there. But look, I think he's made his own mind up there. He's made his own decision that he felt his international days were over. And there's so much talent in India.
But do you think, with the kind of fitness he's showing nowadays and with the kind of hitting prowess, do you think he still has the thing to make it to the Indian team? He still has it in him? Does he have it in him?
No, the talent's still there. The ball striking talent.
Or not, that is different.
Yeah,
Does he have it in him to make the 11?
It's probably a different story batting for 20 overs in a 50-over game than he's facing 5 balls in a T20
Okay,
game.
but again, you have to take into account the fact that he plays in India. He has good know-how about the Indian conditions. So then what happens? I feel 40% of Dhoni...
I'll tell you what should happen. You should be a selector. Then you can tell me if you're
The
going to
last question will go there. Last question because we have to run.
So education charge है?
Yes.
आपका किस तरह का
I don't understand. You have to answer.
वो पूछे
If you don't understand, I don't understand.
एडवेंटेज के बारे में he wants to ask something about advantage.
Okay.
Please
We'll
go ahead.
go for that one and we'll come back. Last question. Yes.
क्रिकेट में चला गया आपने जो एडवांटेज दिया वो तो
अभी आते हैं वापस.
Please.
Please. Do you think the World Test Championship final should be a best of 3, or is one match enough to decide?
That's a very good question. It's a very good question. I actually haven't thought about that before. I have thought about having a best of 3 finals in T20 cricket. That's what I have thought about, because I think with the T20 game and even an IPL or the Big Bash that obviously happens in Australia, I've always felt that to get a fair reflection of the best team through a tournament, maybe a 3-game final series might be the best way to do it.
Does it include the T20 World Cup as well? Or just the IPL Big Bash League or the other league, T20 league?
I think any T20 competition, I think it potentially could be a fairer result of the best team. But World Cups are not like that. World Cups are about here and now in the moment. It'd be like having an Olympic 100-metre sprint final when you do it 3 times.
Last question before we let you go. Michael Vaughan, your good friend from England, he has suggested that for the Ashes, instead of having David Warner as the opener, he should bat in the middle. Do you agree with him? And would you also consider having David Warner bat in the middle position during the WTC final, or would you want him to open?
Michael Vaughan suggested Mitchell Marsh opening, didn't he?
So even David Warner.
No, David Warner not opening. I think he had Mitchell Marsh opening the batting in the Ashes. He's never done it in his life, and he had David Warner batting down the middle order because he thought David's, he could also play in the middle and play spin well. I don't think
Do you see
either of those
David
are
as
open.
part of the WTC final
Yeah.
after what happened during the Border Gavaskar Trophy with the form that he was in?
Yeah, he'll definitely play the World Test Championship final. It sounds like, I'm very much an outsider with the Australian team. I have very little to do with the Australian cricket team anymore at all. my time there is done, and I've moved on to other things. But it sounds like he'll play the World Test Championship final. I think they'll give him an opportunity in the first few Ashes tests. If he does well, obviously he stays on. If he doesn't do so well, they might think about moving on after that.
मैच से जुड़े आपके हर सवाल का हम देंगे जवाब। जानने के लिए हर अपडेट, लाइव एनालिसिस, स्पेशल इंटरव्यूज, डाउनलोड कीजिए स्पोर्ट्स तक ऐप।